Hello, and welcome back to Song Surveys on Sofas with Superheroes. So today's review is really special. It's the first time I'm doing a review for a song that someone suggested in the comments, so I'm really excited. This suggestion came from Josh. He suggested that I listen to a couple songs by this band, and I completely fell in love, got super obsessed. It was so hard to just pick one song because I wanted to listen to all of them, make sure I was making the right choice. But I ended up with the song that I'm about to review. So thank you, Josh. I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy my review of the song. So today's song is Monster by Magic Bronson. I highly suggest you listen to any Magic Bronson song. They are wonderful, and Monster just happened to be the one I picked for many reasons, which I'll get into now. So first, the song starts with music, and it's almost like three parts. Like the song is introducing the themes. So you have this first part, which is just these quick notes that repeat, which I love. And then after that, it kind of gets more bassy in the second part and sounds very different, but while keeping in with that first part. And then the last part, it kind of slows down, brings back the bass a little bit, and is whistling. They add like this whistle to it, which is great. And it definitely, all three parts work, and all three parts are then brought back to the song throughout the song. So sometimes it's while the singer is singing, and sometimes it's while they're not singing. So it's really an interesting way to start the song. It kind of gives you the clear, this is like what you should be listening for, because it's going to come back again, which I really like that a song does that. It kind of introduces it and then brings it back. So the first verse is awesome. I especially love the second part of it. It talks about kind of keeping your chin up and walking proud, but then also it's very realistic. It says, let it bleed, right? So they know stuff is going to go wrong. This person understands that it's not going to always be pretty, but they're just saying, you know what, you just have to like let it go and let things be the way that they're going to be. So I really like that. And then the second part after that is then let the wolves howl. Let people complain, let people cry and, be upset. But at the end of the day, like, you just have to make sure that you are doing whatever you need to get done. So I love that. I love that it's a very positive thing, but a very realistic one too. And also the other thing about this song, just as a whole, which I find fascinating, and if anyone knows, please comment, is the pronouns. This band uses pronouns in this song very specifically, and it makes me really think, and it kind of, every time I listen to it, I get a different perspective. Okay, the singer's definitely this perspective, or wait a minute, is it that perspective? Like, again, it kind of makes you want to listen to the song over and over again until you feel like you've understood it, and then even then you're like, wait a minute, but did I really understand it? So I just really appreciate their use of pronouns in this song. So the very first line is, I'll be here for whatever life gives, and then the next line after that is, Mama knows best. So you're thinking, well, is he trying to insinuate that he's like the mom, he knows best? Or is this like two different statements? I'll be there, but also just so you know, your mom probably knows best. So that's like right off the bat, you're kind of like, okay, well, like what's going on in this song? So then it goes into the second part of the verse, which talks about the 4th of July and pretty clearly, lights exploding in the sky. So you're definitely thinking fireworks. And then it says, sometimes it weighs on my mind, but lately I've been feeling fine. So I kind of am interested, what is that? Does it have to do with 4th of July? Is it related to somehow like explosions, fireworks, or something like that? So definitely leaves me interested and intrigued to see, kind of figure out what has been happening in this person's life that is occasionally weighing on their mind. But then this wonderful, wonderful thing happens, and the next line is, well, like I said, but lately I've been feeling fine, like, and then rather than say anything and try and describe it with words, this is where we go back to that beginning three pieces of music, right? They play that second, heavier bass music right after he says like. And then the line, well, lately I've been feeling fine like, and now instead of doing that second piece, it's that third piece with the whistling. So it really is so interesting to me, and I love it, because every time I listen to it, feeling fine like, the definition of fine just changes from second to second, because you're listening to this heavier bass and you kind of have this one image in your head, and then all of a sudden you have this like whistle part that comes back and you're like, oh, well, maybe this is what being fine is really like. But then why did they have the bass part right before it? It's great. It's so interesting. It really is intriguing. It makes me want to listen to the song over and over again to try and figure out the definition of fine. And the fact that they don't put it into words just makes it so much better because it really allows the listener to make the song their own, which I love when bands do that and you can just listen to it and kind of, put your own take on it and your own spin on it, but also you want to know what the original take and the original spin was. So this song does that perfectly by not saying words after it and by putting two different pieces of music behind the word like. So I really love that. So then we get into the pre-chorus, which is where the pre-chorus and the chorus is definitely where these pronouns come into play the most. So the pre-chorus is all about we. We've got our lantern, our nightlight, we've got a monster underneath our bed tonight, which I love the imagery of that, right? This person is confident that there's a monster, and they have the nightlight, they have a lantern. So I really do like just the mental picture that I get, but I also, especially knowing what the next part of the chorus is going to be, is interesting with those pronouns again. So then the next part is run, get your mama, your papa too, wake your brother, tell them to protect your room. So now we've gone from a we shared experience to a you, this is your thing. And again, I don't know why they did that. If anyone knows, please comment. I'm so interested to know the difference between the our and the we. But I also, in this chorus part, love how subtly the lyrics can allow you to assume that the brother is actually like in the room with this person. So, go get your mama and your daddy and wake your brother. So like maybe he's like in the next bed over or a bunk bed or something. So I love that. I love that it's subtly in there and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's true, but I do like that you can kind of get that image of like their two brothers sharing a room. Or maybe a brother and a sister, but I love that idea of it. It's so great. So then we get to the second verse, and this I love because the very first line is, I'll be there for whatever life throws. So you kind of have that more figurative language, like, they're going to throw you loss and heartache and all these sad things and, failure and stuff like that. But then the next line is about ducking and dodging it. So I do like that you kind of go from that very figurative to a little bit more literal, but not so literal that it ruins it. It's just like that, wait a minute, like now you're going to be ducking and dodging. So I kind of like again, that imagery that it brings to my head, right? Of all these things, you're going to be trying to avoid them. So I kind of like that. And it's a little bit more of like a literal thing. Anyway. So then we go back to the 4th of July with the lights exploding in the sky. So that is something that, again, just kind of goes back to. So obviously that was important to repeat that part when, other than the chorus, it's not really repeated. I thought that was kind of significant and important. But what comes after is even better because after that, instead of saying what weighs on my mind again and feeling fine, he goes to talk about how sometimes life leads the blind, and now he's seeing fine. So I love that like difference of feeling versus now we're seeing, and I also think the whole like blind and versus now I'm seeing fine is like a little bit more clever than the weighing on my mind. So I love that they kind of made that the second one. And I think when bands do that, it makes me want to listen to the whole song over and over again because just the lyric is so good. And I think that was the lyric. The blind and the seeing part was definitely the lyric that made this the song that I decided to review. I fell in love with it and I couldn't get over it. So anyway, I thought it was super clever. I love it. I love that they saved it for the second verse. And again, once they say like, there is nothing after it but that music. And it goes into that second heavier bass. And then it says, lately we've been feeling, very specific with the pronouns. And I just kind of messed that up. But anyway, lately I've been feeling fine like, and then it goes into that whistle part. So you have that like heavier bass part, and now you're thinking, okay, well, what does it mean to see fine like that? And then suddenly you have this like whistle part, and you're like, wait, now what does that mean? So again, I love it. I love that there was a subtle difference between feeling and seeing. I think that was really well done. Definitely enhanced my listening experience for the song. And then after that, they go through the pre-chorus again, still keeping the pronouns the same. So it's still our lantern, our light, our bed. And then they go back into the chorus, which is the your. Get your mom, get your brother, your room. So I love that they kept the pronouns consistent. Super interested to know what that means, but I like that they kept them consistent throughout. And then they kind of, again, just play some music, but again, it's in that like, almost like that 3 parts, right? So they kind of have that one part, and then they go into the next part, and they slowly fade it out. I think they did an excellent job with the song. It is fantastic. Right now, stop listening to this after I'm done in like 2 seconds and listen to the song. It is that good. It is so excellent, and it's definitely interesting, something that you've probably never heard before, and it will hopefully blow your mind like the song blew mine. And I really want to thank Josh. Thank you so much for the suggestion. I love this band. I can't wait to hear more. Can't wait for any new music they're bringing out. I am more than excited about this band. And anyone else, please like, subscribe, comment, give me suggestions. I am more than happy to listen to music and review it. Especially if it's awesome music. I mean, even if it's not awesome music, I'm super pumped about just listening to new things. And I definitely appreciate the fact that I now am like semi-obsessed with this new band, and I would have never probably heard their music otherwise. So please, please, please comment below. Let me know what you want me to listen to and review, and like and subscribe if that's something that you want to do too. All right, well, thanks for listening, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye.